All right, so in section 4 of chapter 4, we talk about credit cards. And I wanted to do a little video on example 3 in the book. Again, this is starting on page 195. This one, it's a simple problem in concept, but I think just kind of digging into what it's trying to say is the big challenge we face. So in example 3, we've got some information that's given to us. First of all, we're told, hey, Rebecca, she didn't pay last month's credit card bill in full, so we're going to have some stuff outstanding. And it says for the last 7 days, she owed $456.11. All that means is that on day 1, day 2, day 3, her credit card balance has not changed from that amount. So she's not bought anything, she's not paid anything off. That's how much she's owed. Now it says here for the past 3 days, and again, I guess the time frame isn't really relevant, but we're going to go ahead and do this linearly. It says for the last 3 days, she owed $1,177.66. Effectively, Rebecca made a purchase, and now her new balance for the next 3 days is that value, the $1,177.60. Looks like on after that she paid off part of her card, and so we have 6 days. It says we're sitting at only $990.08. Again, this means that for 7 days she owed $456.11. Then she made a purchase or number of purchases, and she may have paid some stuff off too in that time frame. But what she's charged to this card is more than what she's paid. Down, and so $1,177.60, and she was left at that balance for 3 days. Then for 6 days, she's now sitting at $990.08. Going on for 9 days, we're sitting at $2,115.15. And then for 5 days, notice we're sitting at $2,309.13. And this is the money that she owes. So when we say that she's made a purchase, her credit card bill is now increasing. When you have a balance on your credit card, like a checking account, when you have a balance, that means that you have money in there to spend. You have money in that you can use. With a credit card, it's the reverse because it's not your money. You're borrowing money. So when you have a balance on a credit card, it's the bank's account that's going up, or the credit card issuer. Their balance is what's going up. And so for her balance, it's increased every day. We can look at her average daily balance as just what's happened on those total number of days. So we've got 10, 16, 25, 30, so we're sitting at 30 days. Now, in the book on page 196, you'll notice it does some multiplication here. I've kind of already set that up, and I already have the values given, so I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. And so when we look at the total balance, and again, I would like to consider this as a weighted average, really. So as an example, if I owed $10 from day 1 on my monthly bill for my credit card, that $10 not paid off, assuming no interest or anything else, keep everything equal, we would have a $10 average daily balance, because on the day 1 and day 30, anywhere in between any days in there, my average balance owed on that day was $10. If I made a purchase the first of the month for $10 and 15 days in, I paid it off, well, I don't have a balance for the rest of the month. So that second half of the month is zero balance. So when we take the $10 for half of the month, so a 30-day month, so 1 through 15, and then 16 through 30, that's pay it off as zero, then we would take our average daily balance and halve it. It would essentially divide out. Now you could say, well, like I've got here, we've got this $10, or sorry, 7 days at 456.11. If I multiply that through and get that 3,192.77, if I then had the rest of the month clean, nothing owed, then my balance would only be for 7 days of this huge balance, and then at the end of 7 days I'd have a bunch of zeros added in there, and it would bring this value down. But since we have transactions occurring every few days or so, or at least enough occurring throughout the month, what we're doing is we're essentially weighting these against how long that balance existed. So for 7 days we were at 456, but for 9 days, almost a third of the whole month, we're sitting at a balance of $2,115. And so the weight in that 248, 19,000 of it, almost half, a little less than half, like 85, 90% of it is, sorry, not 85, more like 45% of it is just this alone, this $19,000. So when we look at the end of this, we've got this 43, 248. Now in the book it says, well, divide by 30. And again, the reason we're doing that is because when we divide by 30, we're saying, well, how many total days are going on in this month? And how many days, how many dollars have we kind of created? So when I go and divide this, I'm going to divide it by the 30 days, and I get $1,141.60. Now, again, we're dividing that out. That tells us our average daily balance for 1 month is $1,441.60. That means even though we had a balance here of this 456, we also had two parts of the month, actually over half the month, almost half the month, we're sitting at these huge balances because we have these smaller ones for a decent amount and less than here, this 2,030, 300, 2,115, right? It pulls the average down. And so again, that 43, 248.05, we're going to divide that by 30, and we end up getting the $1,441.60. We're going to do one more of these. So we're going to do just one more. Yeah, I think that'll work. So we're going to do number 5 in the book. I don't have a picture of it on here like I planned, but that's okay. It says Vincent had these daily balances on his credit card. His APR is 19.2%. He only pays the annual percentage rate, which is basically going to be what his finance charge is on whatever his average daily balance is. So we've got 9 days, actually 1 second here. So 9 days at 778.12, 8 days at 1,876 even, 4 days, sorry about that, at 2,112.50, and 10 days at the 1,544 and 31 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate those up real quick. As you can see, I've got my calculation sitting here on the left, the 778.12 times 9 all the way down. I went ahead and added all those up. I got 45,904 and 18 pennies. We have, if you add up 9 plus 8 plus 4 plus 10, we get 31 days, and then that gives me my answer, which I got as 14.80 and 78 cents. Again, I took all those values and added them up. That gave me the 45,904.18. I took that 45,904 and 18 cents and divided it by the number of days, which is found here, and that gave me this 14.80 and 78 cents. And so now when you look at the finance charge side of it, all we need to do is take our annual percentage rate. We're told it's 19.2. Now again, we can get that into decimal form if we want to. It doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately it needs to be there, but either way, 19.2, that's an annual percentage rate. So we need to take that 19.2 and divide it by the number of months that we have in a year, since we're going monthly for credit cards, and now we're looking at a 1.6% or 0.016% as a monthly. So we're going to take our 14.80 and 78 cents and multiply that by now 0.016, And that gives us a value of $23.69. So when we look at our value, again, we have our APR and our MPR. And MPR, monthly percentage rate, is really just equal to our APR divided by 12. Essentially, like when we were doing compound interest, we were going 1 plus n divided by, r divided by the number of times we're compounding. It's similar to that. And so when we divide by 12, we essentially say, here's our rate of the year, but it's spread out over a course of 12 months. And on a monthly scale, in our scenario, we had that 19.2 divided by 12, 1.6%, or 0.016. This is the percentage rate that we're going to owe. This is our interest owed, and it's on our average daily balance. So you can imagine if we had gone back into our original equation, number 5 in the book, if we'd gone back and said, instead of 9 days at 788, what if we had 15 days? And instead of 8 days, so right now we only had 2 days at this one, or maybe 2 days at this one. And so what ends up happening is it brings down the weights of these. You can see our biggest weights are in this 10-day and this 8-day at 15 and 15. It's huge. It's 30,000 of the 45. We're looking at 66% of all of our balance in those ones. If we were to reduce those a little bit, we'd be good. What if you had a large purchase at the end of the month? Your APR, right, or should say your MPR, is going to be multiplied by a much smaller average daily balance, and so the rate that you're going to owe, your finance charge, is going to be much, much less. So I hope that helps. This one's going to come up again in a few sections. We're going to be dealing with this. The only difference later on, I think it's in 4-6, is we have to figure out the number of days. And other than that, really the basic idea is that we're weighting, again, everything that we're paying across how long we have that balance. So the sooner you pay something off, the lower the finance charge. And again, you do not need to have a finance charge paid to help your credit score. So don't fall into the trap of thinking, well, if I owe money and I let it run to the point where I have to pay it, then that's going to help. If anything, it's going to hurt your credit score, because the credit lenders are going to say, oh, not credit lenders, sorry, the reporting agency, there's 3 of them, right? The TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, I believe that's what their names are. I always forget. Those 3 are all looking at how often you pay things off and how well you pay it off. If you sit with something outstanding for a long period because you think you're going to help your credit, all they're going to see is, wow, this person takes a long time to pay this back. That makes it more risky, because there's statistics to show, just like the longer you go without going to college, or achieving some dream you want to get achieved, or doing something that you want to do, the longer you go without asking so and so out to date, on a date or to a dance, the less likely you are going to actually do that thing. Whether life is going to happen, right? Someone else is going to ask Joe, and now you can't date him, sorry. Or you want to achieve this dream, but now you feel too worn out, too old, you're too busy. Any number of excuses, insert them there. The longer you drag something out, the less likely it's going to happen. We call that time value of money, and with debt, it's the same thing. The longer you owe money, the less likely you're going to pay it off, without making regular and consistent and effective payments. So not making the bare minimum payments a good idea. So credit reporting agencies are looking at that, as well a number of other factors, but that being an important one, and for the context of this lesson, one that we're talking about. If you have other questions, please let me know, but in general, I just wanted to talk about this problem because it really encompassed the bulk of what we're doing in this lesson, and that's understanding the weight of money and how it affects our payment, but also how average daily balance is really affecting what we owe over time. And looking at a good snapshot of what we owe, the smaller that number, the better, because it looks good. We look more credible or more trustworthy. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions.